Now, earlier this year, I reviewed one of the more popular laptops on my channel. Yes, it's the Dell XPS 15, the 9520 that was refreshed here for 2022. Now, I wanted to check out one of its chief competitors from Lenovo, the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 5. This just arrived in the studio about a week ago. I've been putting it through its paces ever since. We got a lot of good stuff here: UHD Plus, IPS display, touch display that even has pen support, believe it or not. It also has an RTX 3070 Ti, a 12th gen Intel H series processor, and it has that carbon fiber weave on the exterior, and it's also pretty durable. We're gonna get into it now in this review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 5, all new for 2022. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unboxing, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Lenovo. I'm not being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Lenovo is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this review unit is on loan from Lenovo, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Pricing starts at $1649.45. Price is tested here today, $2973.85. Yeah, it's not cheap. This is a flagship device. There's no doubt about it. And pricing is commensurate with that. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. And with the specs and pricing out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. Okay, we'll get to the unit in a moment, can't wait, but of course you get a power adapter. It's 230 watts. We've seen this one before, and it uses Lenovo's own proprietary connection. And you get the power cord as well. Okay, let's get to the unit, and holding it for the first time, I gotta say, once again, very high-end, very premium, and because we're going with the high-end specs on here, you're getting that carbon fiber weave pattern you don't get on the lower-end model, so keep that in mind. This is fully decked out pretty much. Now, as far as the weight, it's 1.88 kilograms or 4.14 pounds, so it's definitely portable, so if you throw it in your bag, it is definitely easy to carry with you on the road if you have a business trip or you're on vacation. If you want to take it with you, no trouble carrying this around. I think at 4.14 pounds, it packs a lot of power under the hood. And it's also very durable with a carbon fiber magnesium combo here in terms of the chassis. So you're going to get a lot of ruggability. You're going to get a lot of nice aesthetics with that carbon fiber weave. And again, it is portable in terms of the weight. Now, one thing to note, my review unit was definitely used before me because there is a stain on the touchpad. I don't know if they tried to clean it or use some kind of cleaner and it left a permanent mark. It's hard to get that stain out. So this is not brand new out of the box. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this. Retail unit should be perfect out of the box. But what I have to say is it is a major fingerprint magnet. You will be showing a lot of fingerprints, so you'll be wiping it down quite a bit. Keep that in mind. Okay, folks, let's check out the port selection. On the left side is your power port, followed by two USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function. They support data, charge, and display out. Next to that is an HDMI 2.1 port, and next to that is a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. And moving over to the right side is a full-size SD card reader, a welcome addition, of course, if you are a content creator. One thing to note, the cards do stick out a little bit. They don't sit flush with the unit, something to bear in mind. Next to that are two USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports, and then finally a Kensington lock port on this unit. Now, keep in mind, if you go with the optional 5G, on that right side will be the SIM tray for your SIM card. That is also great, especially for the road warrior who wants to have that always-on connection on the road. And I would say overall, an excellent port selection by Lenovo here. Now, to get inside this laptop, Lenovo makes it once again super easy. All you need to do is loosen the captive Phillips head screws. There are 7 of them. Once you do that, remove the bottom plate and you're in. It's super easy. I love that. Now, once inside, you'll notice the two fans for cooling. You'll notice the vapor chamber cooling. We'll get into the thermal, surface temperatures, and of course, fan noise later on in this review. And you'll notice that 90 watt-hour battery. We're going to get into the battery life and charging times as well later on. And good news, once again, when it comes to upgradability, there are 2 RAM slots that are accessible to the user, 2 SODIMM slots to be exact, and it uses the faster DDR5 4800 megahertz RAM, and you can configure this with up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, which is excellent here for 2022. Now, one thing to note, they're using the Rank 16 RAM, not the faster Rank 8. Pretty interesting. And more good news when it comes to the SSD. If you are wanting to replace it or expand it out later on, it is user upgradable, and they're using PCIe Gen 4. Here on my review unit, it's 1 terabyte. And as you can see from these reads and writes, excellent speeds. Definitely a good result here for 2022. Now, depending on which graphics card you choose will depend on whether or not you get a second SSD slot. If you go with the RTX 3050 Ti, you do get it, because I don't think that model has the vapor chamber cooling, so there's more room in that one to put a second SSD slot. But if you go above that, anything beyond the 3050 Ti, for instance, mine has the 3070 Ti, there is no second SSD slot. That's because the vapor chamber cooling takes up more room. And as I mentioned earlier, there's the optional 5G modem, depending on which model you choose, of course. And then, of course, it has Wi-Fi 6E along with Bluetooth 5.2 in terms of a combo card. And that combo card is soldered into the motherboard, not upgradable down the line, but both are working well in terms of the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, so no issues on either front. Now, when it comes to the display, there are actually 4 options. The 2 interesting ones are the 16-inch 2560 by 1600 display. What makes that a little bit different, obviously, is 165 hertz refresh rate, smoother scrolling, a more fluid experience for certain things, and especially for gaming. And then, of course, what I have here today, I have the UHD Plus. That's 3840 by 2400. What's great about this, it can get as bright as 600 nits. It's an HDR Dolby Vision display, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, unlike the XPS 15 from Dell, that has an OLED display. Here you get an excellent IPS display, but there is no OLED option. But as far as this IPS display is concerned, you get the really deep blacks, the good vibrant colors here, good color accuracy with a 1.13 Delta E score. Anything below 2 is considered color accurate. This doesn't disappoint. And it has excellent coverage of the color gamut, 100% sRGB, 97% Adobe RGB, 87% of the DCI-P3 wide color gamut, and 93% NTSC. So if you're a content creator that does Lightroom, Photoshop, video editing, color grading, this is an excellent choice. And as I mentioned earlier, this is an HDR Dolby Vision display. Watching high dynamic range content on YouTube, Netflix, Amazon has been excellent on this panel. And it has a really bright display. I measured 598 nits, which is a little bit shy of what they claim. They claim 600 nits, but it is very bright nonetheless. And it's also a touch display. Yes, you can actually use your finger to navigate through the OS, or you can use a pen. Yes, this does have pen support, which is a little bit surprising since it is a clamshell, but it's nice to have that convenience to use it to scroll, take notes, or even sketch out a diagram or some digital artwork here and there. Now, if you are a gamer and want a higher refresh rate, as I mentioned earlier, they offer this with a QHD Plus resolution that's 2560 by 1600, and that will have a high refresh rate of 165 hertz. That's going to be better for the gamer. But my overall takeaway is this is an excellent choice, especially if you're a content creator. Go with this 4K Plus display. You won't be disappointed. Well, some of you might be asking, well, who's the competition here for the X1 Extreme Gen 5? And that would be the Dell XPS 15 9520 that I reviewed earlier this year. And I really liked it. So if you didn't see it, I'll leave a link in the description below for you to check it out. One of the more popular videos this year on my channel, and for good reason. It has that gorgeous OLED display, Infinity Edge display with those micro bezels. A couple of downsides, it didn't have the greatest of cameras. I was hoping a big increase or a big improvement here in 2022. 2022, you'll definitely get a better camera on this X1 Extreme Gen 5. There's no doubt about it. And really, these are head-to-head are very interesting choices. Now, the keyboard on the X1 Extreme Gen 5 is excellent. It's a ThinkPad keyboard. The tactility, the key travel feels good. On the Dell, I would say it's a little less tactility. It's a little bit more sleek looking in terms of the design. Again, a very modern look, but I think that's going to get a refresh closer to what we saw with the XPS 13 Plus next year. But again, I have nothing concrete. That's just speculation on my part. But when you compare these two displays, IPS versus the OLED, the IPS certainly holds its own, but I think in the end of the day, OLED will give you the really deeper blacks, the super vibrant colors, and that really high contrast that IPS just can't match. So this is the front-facing camera, or the only camera, I should say, on this brand new ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 5 here for 2022. A full HD 1080p webcam. It's an IR webcam, allowing you to log in with face recognition with Windows Hello. There's also a fingerprint scanner. The power button doubles as that fingerprint scanner, allowing you to log in with Windows Hello as well. Setup was easy, registering my finger each and every time I've used it. Now, what do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality of the Array mics? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, a couple of things to note. There is a physical shutter switch to allow you to turn off the webcam, giving you more security and privacy. And if you go into the Commercial Vantage app, since this is a ThinkPad, you can control the webcam settings, control the auto exposure, the brightness, the contrast, and that gives you some nice control as the user. But again, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, folks, let's talk performance. And this is running the 12th gen Intel processor, the Core i7-12800H, a 45-watt CPU that has 14 cores, 8 efficiency cores, and 6 performance cores. And as you can see, it also has the RTX 3070 Ti that can reach as far as 100 watts in terms of output, and a really good Cinebench R23 score, both single-core, multi-core performance, really impressive this time around. Doing everyday tasks such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, video editing, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, 4K video editing, all worked really well. And it's a really nice improvement year over year from last year. So I think what you're getting here is improved single and multi-core performance is what we want to see. We get it. Now, I want to stress this is not a dedicated gaming laptop, but gaming is certainly feasible thanks to the RTX 3070 Ti that this has. As you can see, playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles, even under the QHD resolution, you're going to get pretty nice frame rates. And as I mentioned earlier, this has the vapor chamber cooling. That's because this has the RTX 3070 Ti. And as far as the thermal throttling is concerned, I did notice some when I put it under heavy load, gaming, when I ran the Prime 95 stress test, but the clock speeds remained relatively good, producing good numbers as indicated, particularly by that Cinebench R23 in both the single and multi-core scores. So performance is very good. But as far as the fan noise is concerned, you will definitely notice it, especially in performance mode. They will kick in and you will notice them again about 44, 45, maybe 43 decibels. Sometimes it just varies, but never above that. So not too bad when it comes to the fan noise, but it is definitely noticeable, just something to bear in mind. Now, as far as the surface temperatures are concerned, never getting overly hot. There are a few hot spots here and there, as you can see, but for the most part remained relatively cool. Okay, let's talk battery life. And as I mentioned earlier, this has a 90 watt hour battery and it did 8 hours and 14 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. That translates to about 5 to 6 hours of what I call real world mixed usage. But of course, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. Not terrible, but not great either. Now, when it comes to the charging times, the supplied 230 watt power adapter takes about 90 minutes to give you a full charge. Not too bad. Now, when it comes to the audio, this sports top-firing Dolby Atmos speakers, and I thought they sounded really good. They were crisp, they were sharp, they had some volume to it, and it filled up the room rather nicely. The mids were good, the decent bass there. Overall, good sound on this laptop. And for those of you wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger. The screen also goes back 180 degrees for those wondering. Now, when it comes to this keyboard, I am a huge fan. Once again, here for 2022, it's a ThinkPad keyboard. That means you're going to get that really nice tactility and that nice key travel that we expect with a ThinkPad. Typing out long documents or long emails has been a pleasure so far on this unit. Now, it does have a multi-stage backlight that works really well, and it allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. Now, as far as the touchpad is concerned, I mentioned earlier, it does have a stain on it. I don't know who had it before me, but I think they tried to use some cleaner and it does have a stain, but nonetheless, you shouldn't expect it on yours, but it will get stains eventually. It will show fingerprints and smudge marks. You'll be wiping it down quite a bit. But as far as the responsiveness, the two-finger scrolling worked really well, and all the gestures work as advertised. Now, it does have the TrackPoint, which of course is an inherent part of the ThinkPad DNA. You can navigate using that as well for those that like it. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 5 here for 2022? And the thing that I take away from this, it's not a huge revolutionary update. I think it's more of an incremental update. But if you are in the market for more horsepower in terms of performance, you're going to get it here year over year, a big increase in that department. Thanks to the 12th gen Intel CPU that this sports. You can go up to an RTX 3080 Ti, which is going to give you that graphics horsepower. I have the 3070 Ti, and it worked really well for pretty much everything you throw at it. I like the upgradeability on this laptop. Depending on which model you get, you'll get 2 SSD slots or 1, just depending on which GPU option you choose. As I mentioned, it also has DDR5 RAM. There are 2 SODIMM slots that are accessible to the user. Now, you could also get it with the optional 5G, again, depending on which unit you go with, and that's going to be great for those that need to get work done on the road and have an always-on connection. I like the Full HD 1080p webcam here. It's an IR webcam. It worked well. The negatives here, I would say, is the fact that this is a pretty big fingerprint magnet. You will be wiping it down quite a bit. You don't get an OLED option in terms of the display. Kind of wish that was an option. And it can get expensive as shown by the price tag here. But of course, Lenovo runs a lot of sales, so make sure you hit that link below for the latest pricing. But this is another winner on their hands, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give the ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 5 a score of 90%, making it worth your money here for 2022. So what do you think about this bad boy, the X1 Extreme Gen 5? Now, this is that carbon fiber weave that comes on the high-end model, which is what I have here. The entry-level model gets the basic black exterior. This is a carbon fiber magnesium combo here. The exterior of the chassis is very durable, and it's going to take a licking and keep on ticking. It's got military-grade testing that it's underwent. Yes, it is very durable. Now, at 1.88 kilograms or 4.14 pounds, not the lightest out there, but definitely portable to take with you on the go. But yes, this is a 16-inch laptop, a little bit over 4 pounds, and you do get that RTX 3070 Ti, again, 12th gen Intel processor as well. And the performance numbers year over year are excellent. We see a great increase in terms of the single and multi-core performance, big increase actually, and we're seeing pretty good stuff here. Thermals are pretty good thanks to the vapor chamber cooling that this has. Full upgradeability in terms of the RAM, the SSD. You could even get a model that has 5G on this. Yeah, a lot of great things here, especially for the big business executive on the go. Battery life, I'd say, is about where we'd expect it. It's a 90 watt-hour battery. It did a little bit over 8 hours, maybe 8 hours and 14 minutes on my continuous web surfing test, 5 to 6 hours of what I call real-world mixed usage. So pretty average, I would say. Nothing great, nothing terrible, but that's what you can expect with this laptop. Now, of course, this is geared towards business users. Commercial enterprise users will look at this, and that's why the price is going to be high. They're not going to blink at it. They're going to buy these in bulk and get discounts from Lenovo. But of course, keep your eye on the link in the description below. They are running sales quite a bit on these, so check the link in the description below. I know Lenovo does fluctuate the pricing every now and then. They do run some pretty good sales. Again, check that link for the latest pricing. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.